Sustainable Development Goal 13 states, "Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts." The aim of this goal is to strengthen resilience and adaptive capacity to climate-related hazards and natural disasters in all countries around the world. Zambia has not been spared the adverse effects of climate change. It has been projected that if no action is taken, rainfall variability, for example, could cost up to 0.9% of our gross domestic product expansion in the next 10 years. The severity of climate change is already being felt in key sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, mining, and energy. For example, the country experienced a 600 megawatt decline in hydropower electricity generation in the 2015-2016 season because of poor rainfall. In an effort to mitigate and adapt to these adverse impacts of climate change, a number of measures have been put in place by the Zambian government. A few of these are: Zambia has joined the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Further, it has ratified instruments under this convention, such as the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement. It has also put in place the Nationally Determined Contribution to assist in the attainment of the Paris Agreement objectives. A national adaptation program of action has also been developed to respond to immediate adaptation needs. This program has identified 7 priority sectors: agriculture, forestry, water, energy, wildlife, infrastructure, and health. There has also been the development of a forest investment plan to work out ways in which to reduce deforestation as well as raise resources for the same. Other measures include the introduction of climate change issues into the school curriculum at primary, secondary, and tertiary level in a bid to cultivate climate awareness in future and current generations in order to foster climate-friendly behavior. The promotion of climate change-related research and policy analysis has also been prioritized. It must be noted, however, that there are many challenges faced in the implementation of climate adaptation and mitigation measures. To outline a few, firstly, there is an inadequate capacity in the development of bankable climate change proposals. Secondly, there has been a lack of proper domestic financing to implement climate change-related projects. Thirdly, existing partnerships between the government and the private sector on climate change-related projects need to be strengthened. Fourthly, there is a need for further data collection on climate change impact in Zambia, such as on biodiversity and ecological systems. And lastly, there needs to be more awareness raised on climate change-related issues to the Zambian populace. Practices such as charcoal making and mass tree cutting exercises need to be desisted from, but this can only happen if awareness levels are raised on the harmfulness of these practices to the environment. Now, in order to overcome some of these challenges, the following recommendations are given. It is cardinal that developing countries commit to both short and long-term projects that will enable adaptation and mitigation. Mitigation and adaptation to climate change is a very expensive exercise. Hence, government funding for climate-related issues is usually restricted to merely being reactive, such as emergency response when floods or droughts hit. So first and foremost, more efficient, cohesive resource mobilization measures need to be put in place if a more effective adaptation and mitigation effort is to be realized. Also, there is need to enhance the capacity of stakeholders for bankable project proposal development to enable a pipeline of project proposals for submission to multilateral climate funds. Furthermore, there's also a need to enhance domestic resource mobilization for the implementation of climate action. Instruments that could be utilized include green bonds. Another recommendation is that there should be a strengthening of the partnerships between the government and private sector in climate change programs and projects, as well as the promotion of private sector as well as the promotion of private sector participation to enhance financing for climate action. Zambia also needs to further build capacity to produce climate change-related data, as well as improve existing information systems to better collect data on climate change impacts, such as on biodiversity, ecological systems, and greenhouse gas emissions. And lastly, systems need to be put in place that effectively raise awareness on climate change and its potential impacts on social and economic development, livelihoods, and ecosystems.